Yeah, so I've made a decision to go back home next year for the 2019 season, England World Cup build-up as well. Obviously a huge decision, biggest decision really of my career at this point, especially as a senior player. But it's something I'm really excited about. You know, I've absolutely loved my time at Giants. It's been memorable, some of my best netball memories I can definitely say I hold within this club. But for me, it's looking more holistically at my life and what's going on in and around the game and what's going to make me happy as a whole. So whilst I'll always have an orange heart, I think, yeah, it's definitely time for me to head home. There was definitely a process in my decision making. There have been many lists and many kind of arguments with myself and with you know, my support network, my friends and family. But in terms of making the decision to come home, it's something I actually always wanted to do even from a young age. And I always wanted to come back home. I decided really after travelling when I was 23, 24 years old. So all of a sudden, you know, 4 or 5 years later, was forced to either stay out here and keep pursuing with things out here or put that idea into action. And after a lot of thought and a lot of list making and decision making and back and forth, it felt right to make the decision to go home. So the idea of finishing up with the Giants, it was not really more so leaving the Giants. It was more about the timeline of the idea of the athlete that I want to be and what I want to achieve in the time I've given myself to, I guess, to put everything into this game. And I've always said to myself that I wanted to go back home and go back into the league back home in England at some point in my career. And I think looking at next year and the things that I've achieved and the experiences I've had, it feels like a really nice time to go in and do that and try and have a positive impact over in the league back home and get back in touch with the English fans and the English way of life. You know, I've missed it, you know, I've been away from home for so long now. I'm definitely ready to go back and get back, go see my friends and family, be a lot closer to them and get back into some English netball. Now I've told the team and, you know, they are obviously very sad as I am that we won't be together next year, but at the same time, you know, they have celebrated it and they are, I think I'm very brave the decision making, you know, that I'm making around the game in my life, and they support me around that, which is great really. I couldn't have really asked for a better reaction to what I got from the whole team, not just my teammates, but also Julie and Tanya, etc. So yeah, I feel very well supported around the decision. There's going to be so many moments that I'm going to miss with this group, particularly being a member of the Terror Squad. I kind of hope that membership's a lifetime membership, as I was a foundation member of the Terror Squad, but we'll see about that if the girls will keep my membership up and going. But no, I think there's things like the away games, the little things that we do around the club and the lunches and things like that, I think all make it so worthwhile. And it's all those things around the game that aren't just netball that make you really love it, and that's one thing I think this club has to offer and something that I've really enjoyed being a part of, and yeah, I'll miss dearly. Yes, I've had many key moments here at the Giants, some of my fondest netball memories. The first one has got to be when we got our first dresses given to us at the club across the road at Janaea Netball Centre, and we had the AFL boys there, and it was the inaugural season of the women's footy as well. And that's when I started to realise that this club was going to be something incredibly special, because it was something bigger than just yourself or just your sport. It was almost like we were this trio of teams kind of coming together to try and have this greater impact, you know, in greater Western Sydney. And it's nice to feel a part of something that is just bigger than you, and it gives you a great motivation to get out of bed in the morning, to keep going, to keep pushing. And everyone I've met at this club since that point, the values that they uphold in the community, all the way through to the elite level, is exceptional, and it's definitely a sticking memory for me. Achievements with Giants, you know, I want the Suncorp. You know, it's not over for us yet, so I'm very much looking forward to the next few weeks and seeing what we can achieve. But I guess in terms of how I've grown as a person at this club, I couldn't have asked for a better club to come to not only grow my netball but grow myself outside of the game. So in terms of achievements like that, I do feel like I've taken a big step forward, on and off the court. Yeah, so the next 12 months for me will be going back into international season. Really looking forward to going back into our Roses programme, catching up with some of the girls after the Commonwealth Games. The next year for us is incredibly important, having the World Cup in our own country. So, you know, we've got a lot of work to do if we want to try and get a gold medal on home soil as well. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then again, I'll be going back into wherever I decide to play in England and training hard as ever. You know, commitment levels certainly aren't dropping. I'll be working as hard as ever, but just in a different place.